Well, today I'm going to try something to fix my problem with the boat here. This is the gas tank underneath the decks, and you can't see the supply and return lines right there. But from my understanding is there's a couple of anti-siphon valves. It's got in the 90, there's a little spring and a ball to keep it, like say there's a cut in your hose, in your bilge. It'll keep your fuel from being siphoned down into your bilge because the hose goes lower than the fuel level. And so I'm going to try to take them off and check them out, see if I can, if they're gummed up, if I can replace them, and if that's the problem. So that's the latest news. We'll go from there and see what happens. Well, I got the hose off here. I had to take out a cross member there, and got the hose off. That's the fuel hose. Here's a fitting where it's a fuel pickup. See that tube right there is goes down to the bottom, I suppose. But I blew through that, and I sucked on it, and I got a mouthful of diesel real easy. So I don't know. You know, I thought there was those little check valves and their siphon valves, but doesn't seem to be. So I don't know what else necessarily to try right now. So that one wasn't it. We'll keep on going and see what we can do, I suppose. Okay, so I just got back from the boat, in which you'll have seen, and what I checked was in here right on the fuel tank, the pickup, and in this elbow I was told there might be a check valve or something, but I took that apart and I checked it. I couldn't pull it all the way out because the deck was right there, and I couldn't lift it all the way out because that's one piece. But well, you saw I blew through it and everything, and everything's fine. So I'm going to show you the fuel system and what's going on. So from the fuel tank, we're all good. Then we hit filter number 1, which is a 10 micron Raycor filter, and that's all good. That's brand new, replaced everything. Then it goes up to the engine, which this is actually mounted on the engine. It's filter number 2, 5 micron, and it's got a primer and everything. And from the filter number 2, it goes to the injection pump. From there we got individual lines, and here's where my throttle cable is. Little lever goes back, got a cable that controls the throttle. And I checked the injector and I tightened all the lines, no air's getting in them. So the fuel system is sound. We're getting fuel all the way through. Okay, so for a diesel to run, you need fuel, you need air, and you need the ignition. And so fuel, we've got, check. Air, the turbo's mounted on the back. You know, the exhaust comes up, goes into it, and then out. And the turbo spools up fine. It sounds good. And the air filter I just replaced, and I even tried to run it with no air filter. Being in the engine compartment, you know, there's really not much debris in there, so I figured it was fine. Anyways, no change, but we have good airflow. Check. Ignition for a diesel is the initial start. The glow plugs, they heat up and they give you the initial start. Then from there it's the compression that combusts the diesel. Okay, I was going to try to draw on I don't have glow plugs. I have an element that heats it up in the intake, but you know, that just I don't know how to draw it. But it starts right up and it runs good at idle. So we got good ignition. The problem I'm having is in neutral, everything's okay. In gear, I got 2500 RPM max. And from about 2100 to 25, no difference in performance. That's 8 knots. and that's all I can do. So that's what I got for you. I can't think of anything right now. Now this also has, on the engine, it's got a computer, big old deal mounted into another box here where you can plug in for data. And I have a light flashing on the dash. And I called the Cummins guys, the guys who sold my motor to my boat, and they said my engine doesn't have all those controls that would shut my motor down and limit it in safe mode. They said because it's mechanical injected, which I've seen, I looked at. The throttle works, goes wide open, everything. Okay, put another check. We got throttle. So we've got fuel, air, ignition, and throttle control. And everybody's been telling me it's got to be fuel, it's got to be fuel. So I don't know. I mean, fuel flows fine from the tank to the engine, I suspect, unless my injector pump cannot keep up. It can't push enough fuel. And I don't know enough about pumps, but I know like an oil pump, it'll just give out on you and then it won't work. You'll get nothing. But here I've got something. So that's the deal. Still isn't fixed.